Welcome to Powered by Authenticity, and welcome to our Western New York Changemaker series. I am so excited to bring this series forward. We're going to be talking and celebrating with leaders, doers, big thinkers, and people who are out there making a difference right here in our own backyard. Each episode, we're going to sit down with some incredible people from across Western New York who are forging their own path, creating impact, and doing it all by showing up as their true authentic selves. From nonprofit champions to business innovators and community builders, the series is about amplifying the voices of those who aren't waiting for change, they're creating it. So settle in, let's get inspired, let's shine a spotlight on the change makers in our own community. And for our very first Changemaker series episode, I am absolutely beyond thrilled to welcome Greg Hallock, the Executive Director of GoArt, to the show. Greg, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you.
I can't believe you're here. This is so exciting.
I traveled far to come here.
You did. And before we get started, I do want to first thank GoArt and yourself for the community support that you've provided to us here at the podcast. We've been going for about 2 years now, and you've, allowed us the use of this podcast studio, which is just so exciting to us. And, we can't thank you enough.
Thank you. But I also have to put a little credit in. This is made possible by the New York State Council on the Arts. They give us funding to make this happen.
That's
so
amazing.
Thank you to them.
All right. Awesome. That's great. Greg, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So you're looking more about like me
let's hear about Greg.
Outside of what I do here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I guess I should start by saying I am an ADHD person who is all over the place all the time. So I guess that will explain a lot of the things that I'm about to say. And if you're following me, you might not be following me at times. And then if you look back on it all, it might make sense if you look at it all as a whole, I guess.
I get that. I understand what you just said.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. So I am from a small rural community. I think the population there is now about 800. It was 1,800 when I used to live there.
Okay.
Delvin, New York. It's Cattaraugus County in New York State, Pioneer School District. Mm-hmm. I grew up there in the 80s and 90s. I grew up not knowing much about anything outside of the area. I grew up doing sports because that was what my dad, everybody in the history of my family had done.
Yeah.
My great-grandfather was signed with the Yankees.
No kidding.
No kidding. He
amazing.
ended up getting polio, so he didn't actually play, but he signed with them. He would have played with Babe Ruth, so it would have been pretty amazing, but he hadn't met my great-grandmother yet, so I wouldn't be here if he had actually played. There'd probably be a million more Hallocks because I'm sure baseball players, famous people, you know what I'm saying? But no. So, and then there's just a record of people in my family that are lined up. They were in college for sports, all that. But that wasn't my thing. And to kind of go against the grain and to maybe upset my father, mm-hmm. I decided to do musicals, not because I love them or anything like that, but just because it seemed like something my dad didn't like. So, so I did it and realized
it's a solid reason.
Yeah. And I realized at that point that I loved it. And so I started doing it more and realized that I really enjoyed the arts and theater more specifically. So I eventually went on to college, and initially I was actually going to school for architecture, mm-hmm. and then switched to be a theater major, and had rooming issues at college and UB, and quit school. And my mom said, heck no. And applied for me to go to GCC because they accept you the day that you apply, pretty much.
Yep, pretty much.
And I ended up at GCC as a theater major. Did that, and when I was graduating, the dance instructor there, because we had to take dance as a theater major, was like, have you considered doing dance? And I said, no. And she said, well, I think you should audition for the dance department at SUNY Brockport. So I did. They said, you have potential, but you're not there yet. Mm-hmm. And they signed me into some classes, and I eventually auditioned again and became a dance minor and finished my theater degree there and got my dance minor at Brockport, and then went on to New York City, auditioned, did all of that. Life took me to Hawaii and then to California. And at that point I decided, actually in Hawaii, I met my future husband, and we decided to move to California. And I was auditioning again. And at some point, we wanted a family. Yeah. And living a life as an actor, you never knew if you had a job from day to day. And then you were also serving and bartending. And that wasn't my dream to be doing that. And it looked like I was going to be doing a lot of that for the rest of my life. So I decided to go to grad school. Yeah. And the cheapest school out there was UB. So we came back. I came back to Buffalo. Got into the grad school program and finished my master's in arts administration. And the goal was to leave. And we decided to put in paperwork to adopt, thinking it would take a couple years, and became incredibly lucky and put in our paperwork. The next day we were chosen. And and 2 weeks later, we got a phone call saying, the birth mother wants you in the delivery room. She's there now. So we rushed down. Wow. We got to see our child born, and now it's 13 years later. She just turned 13 last month. So, and then because that was all happening so fast, I decided to look for a job, and a friend told me about this job opportunity. I applied, didn't get it. Applied again when they told me it was open again, and didn't get it. And
third time's a charm.
I know. But then they told that the director at that time, they had got a grant to hire an assistant director, and they told her that she should really consider me. Awesome. And she hired me. And then the main thing was I wasn't from the area, and they wanted me to know more people out here. Yeah. So I came out here, and I would say they were also a little bit afraid. Because I grew up in a small town, but I was a gay man. I had married a Filipino man. I had a Hispanic daughter. I had a lot of big ideas because I'd been living in New York City, then Honolulu, then Los Angeles, and then I was in Buffalo. But I mean, I had big ideas for cities, as everybody said. They're like, oh, these are city ideas.
And our small community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think people were like, what's this guy bringing? What's he doing? You know? And I will admit it was hard, because at first I came in like guns a-blazing. Sure. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I realized it wasn't going to really work. So so I had to figure it all out, and I waited, and then I got a house almost 2 years later and moved out here. And then a couple years after that, I got got another child. I got a little boy. And so now, I'm a dad with 2 kids. So that's a brief, but yet not brief story of who I am.
And we've gotten to know your kids just a little bit. They're often here with you, is that's a great thing to have happen.
It is. At times, I wish that I had the money to have them elsewhere, but it's a nonprofit, so I'm a life servant to the organization, and I love what I do, and it is what it is. I hate that saying, but it is, and my kids love it, and they consider themselves voluntold, not volunteers, because I'm constantly asking them to help. They're like, there's child labor laws. I'm like, it's not child labor when you're volunteers, So they're awesome. Very much a part of it, but I feel like they're being exposed to so many great, amazing things that they have gotten awards for at school. They've gotten most cultured awards and all this different stuff because they're very aware of things from being here. So it's incredible.
I just have to say, I think that's so cool. When I was growing up, this building was the Batavia Club.
Yep.
And so I couldn't walk through this door because my family didn't make enough money. So I wasn't allowed. And it had like this, stigma attached to it that if you weren't from a family of an attorney or anything like that, or doctor, we're farmers and mom's a secretary. We weren't walking through the doors of the Batavia Club. So I love the fact that this building, because it is beautiful, has kids volunteering and becoming cultured from that.
So I have to say, we're on the New York State Haunted History Trail, and we have lots of mediums that come in all the time and do investigations and look at stuff, but they all tell us their stories afterwards. And 1, 2, 3 different mediums have told us about conversations they've had with the ghosts that are in here, and whether you believe it or not, but they've told us that they very much enjoy the presence of the children and the excitement that they bring to the place, and they love the energy of all the people that are in here now.
Yeah,
and that makes me so happy and excited, just knowing that we're doing them good, that they're happy about this, and that it might have been an exclusive club at that point, but we're not exclusive. We're welcoming to everybody, period.
Yep.
I mean, we have a mural on the back of our building that's all different faces of all different nationalities. We're working on adding people of different disabilities, abilities, everything on there. So for them to say that when it wasn't that, and them to be excited, it's almost like they've gone with the times, even though they're dead, So it's pretty amazing to hear that,
cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And we're going to take some pictures and post the pictures of, certain parts of the building as we promote this, because this is a beautiful building. I always show the mural on the wall behind me whenever I'm broadcasting out, and it's always, a good conversation topic, but it is such a great building. That's kind of fun to hear, because I know, like I said, growing up, you drove by this building and it's like, I'm never going to be able to step foot in there.
It's still got a little bit of a stigma with it. People still are like, we can go in there?
Yeah.
We didn't know we could go in there. They still think, and we've been here since we got the building in 2002, 2003 is when we moved in. Okay. So, and when I say that's the organization. I have only been here since 2016, but that is, I mean, we're over 20 years now, and people still think that it's private and they can't come in. Yeah. That's why we have a sign on the railing outside that says, you can come in here, come in.
Yep.
All are welcome.
And it's funny because I brought Dave with me one of the times that we recorded, and he's like, I had no idea that little bar existed, but what a cool hangout spot.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
And we have a bakery too.
Which the bagels are fantastic. So I'm just going to put that up there. Well, I love it. Just knowing too that, kind of your background, but Western New York is famous for chicken wings. Yes. So we're going to do a little icebreaker question now. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite wing spot in Western New York?
Okay. So first off, because I've lived everywhere, this has been a struggle, because everybody always says they have buffalo wings at like all these different restaurants I work at, and nobody understands what a buffalo wing is. They bread them, and you're like, no, this is not a buffalo wing, But so wings. My favorite spot is sadly no longer in existence.
What was it?
It was the Delvin Downtown Pizzeria in Delvin, New York, where I lived on Route 16.
All right.
They were like massive chicken wings. Like, you just felt like you got your money worth, and they were amazing. And I feel bad saying this because they weren't really buffalo in the sense that their sweet and sour sauce was the best on them. But
we'll allow it as a different flavoring.
I'm sorry, but they were amazing. So where I've gone, I guess, from here is I don't really have time to get out much. And so I do this thing with my daughter. I volunteer at Shays so that I can see all the shows. And I get my daughter a season ticket so she can see the shows. And because she's a teenager, she doesn't really like to talk to me at all. But she'll talk to me about the shows. And it's like our bonding time. I get so excited because she actually talks to me on the way home after these shows.
Aww.
And we always stop because the only place open at that time is Wegmans.
Okay.
So we stop at Wegmans and get sushi and Danny's wings.
Aww.
So the buffalo sauce on the Danny's wings. So I would say that's now my favorite spot to go. And I don't know if I can say Wegmans is my spot
Sure
to
you
go.
can.
But those are the wings that I've been getting all the time lately.
And I love that. And I always say I have an effed up life because I have my faith, my family, my food, my football, like all of it. And you're bringing the food and the family
food. So
and all of it together.
Oh, it's all effed up. I love it.
Yeah. So I think the memory ties makes it the perfect place to go get a chicken wing. And Wegmans makes pretty good food. So
they do.
Yeah. I think that's perfect. Producer Ken.
And brownies. I forgot the mini brownies.
Oh, you can't forget the brownies.
But I feel like now I can't do that anymore because we have a bakery here. So I feel like I have to go with the food here. I would say here though the snickerdoodles.
Snickerdoodles?
Yes.
All right, we'll try them.
Amazing.
All right.
Amazing.
I love when we walk in now and it smells like cookies. I'm like, is there any free samples hanging
I am
around?
not loving this. I am completely like, this is not going to help me at all. Like at all. Yes. I leave, I'm walking out at the end of the night and there's food in there and I'm like, no. I mean, I would obviously pay for it, but I'm sitting here like, no, walk away. Just walk by it, do not do it. You don't need to buy 5 desserts a day. Like it's not good for my wallet and it's not good for my stomach. It's not good for anything.
You're spending at your job what you're making at your job.
And I'm like, our baker is really skinny. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, do you eat? She goes, no, I'm not really a big fan. I'm like, you know what? It doesn't make any sense, but it's obviously a good thing.
Good thing for her.
Yeah, for her.
Oh, for her.
She's like, I can taste it and say, yes, this is good. She goes, but I don't need to. And I'm like, that is like the perfect scenario.
Yeah, it is.
To be a baker that doesn't really need to eat sweets.
I think she could hire a few of us as taste testers, but. Hey, Producer Ken, how's it going tonight?
It's going good.
All right, your favorite wing spot?
Well, I think I have to go towards Bar Bill, but specifically Bar Bill in East Aurora. They're just not quite the same at Clarence. I haven't tried the one in Rochester yet, so I can't quite rule that out yet. But between that and the beef on weck, they cut it right off
it's amazing.
Right off the roast right there for you.
Yeah.
So good.
Is it Bar Bill? Is that original in East Aurora?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
The other ones are good, but they're just not quite the same.
Yeah,
okay.
And the atmosphere is different. So Bar Bill in East Aurora is smaller. You get that hometown feel to it. The one in Clarence is 2 stories. It's a little bit bigger. So I think you're also losing a little bit about that authentic experience, the one in Clarence too. But delicious. And that was
But if you can't
too.
get to East Aurora, you should still go to Clarence?
You should 100%.
Okay. Good to know that.
They present them kind of in like a bouquet type of form.
They sort of fan them out around the tray when they bring them over to you.
Mm-hmm.
Fan them out? Like, is there multiple kinds that you can get at once?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Is there a specific kind that you think is the best?
The only real wing is a hot wing.
Oh, period. Okay.
Yeah, the hotter the better.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I will say, if you can't take hot, get like the medium or the medium hot there. They have varying degrees of their hot.
Okay, so I can take hot, like when I'm eating it this way.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying. But when it's coming out the other way, it's probably not the story that we want to talk about on the show. But I have plenty of stories that I can share.
Maybe episode 2. I'm a big Bar Bill fan myself. So that was what I was going to pick. And I'm just saying Mother's Day is Sunday. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. All right. So
was that a wing? Wing?
Wing, wink. Love it. All right. So tell us exactly what your role does here at GoArt.
Oh, okay. So I oversee everything pretty much. Right now, as the executive director, I do a lot of grant writing. Okay. I do all of the grant writing here. So I'm writing grants for the capital projects. Here we're expanding down below to do studios in our basement, art studios for art classes and all of that. Mm-hmm. And then for renovations, because we're a historic building, so there's constant renovations, repairs, all of that. Also, we're building a new space in Orleans County, GoBarn. So overall, I'm talking like $35 million worth of grants that I'm trying to write for that. I also do grants for programming, grants for staff positions, mm-hmm. grants for anything that I possibly can do. I am personally doing maintenance on the building. I've redone floors myself. I have painted the building. I have laid floors, like tiles down on the floors. I have done it all. Yeah. We have people that rent the space, so that means I am here when people are renting the space, cleaning up, doing the garbage. I am literally cleaning. Whatever needs to be done, I'm doing it. I am doing a lot of meetings. So right now we're doing a cultural plan. Mm-hmm. So a lot of meetings, meeting with a lot of different groups, meeting with consultants to plan what we see the organization and the whole Genesee and Orleans County and the rest of the Glow region to look like in 10 years when it comes to arts and culture. But then the county is doing a plan. The Chamber of Commerce is doing a plan. So I have to sit on their committees as well to do that. I sit on the Historic Preservation Commission because we're a historic building. So I sit on their commission to also, when they're shorthand, like they've been many times where they couldn't meet because they didn't have enough people. And we had things that needed to get through. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, then I guess I'm going to sign up. So that way I can't vote, but at least now they have enough people to have a quorum. Yeah. So I can do that,
So representing GoArt to be able to.
Yeah. I can't vote on a GoArt project, but at least now they have enough people to have a quorum so they can meet so that I can now get our stuff passed through,
How big of an issue is that? Like, is it really hard for these groups to get enough people to be on their boards be able, really?
A lot of places all over. Yeah. I mean, and we have, so, I mean, my job is, I work about 80 hours a week, mm-hmm. Which is probably why my kids are here so much. But I'm trying to think, it's like, you name it, I'm pretty much doing it. I do a lot of meetings. I write a couple hundred grants a year. Mm-hmm. We get about 30% of the grants that I write. I don't sit there, like I give reports to my board. Mm-hmm. My board only knows about the grants we get. Yeah. They don't know about
ones you're
they don't know about all the grants that I'm not getting, because I'm not going to sit there and say we didn't get this grant, because that's a lot of grants that we didn't get.
It's a lot of depressing news to deliver to the board.
So I get a ridiculous, probably an average of 70 to 100 emails a day from people that are just inquiring about whatever, and I have to respond to them. A lot of breathing exercises, because sometimes I just don't know how to get through some of the questions and through some of the everyday activities. But there's a lot. We're planning 5 festivals now, so getting through the 5 festivals, figuring out how do we have to market all these different things, listening to people tell me what I'm doing wrong, knowing that knowing what I'm doing wrong, and trying to figure out how I'm going to do that without the money to do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I have to bartend. That's another thing. I bartend 3 nights on top of that. So I'll bring a computer down. If people aren't there, then I'm working on the computer. If people are there, then I'm bartending. And my major goal with bartending is to promote the organization. Mm-hmm. My kids get super annoyed because wherever I go, I'm promoting the organization. We'll be in a store anywhere, and they're like, seriously, you're talking about GoArt again? I will just be in wherever. You do, though. It is. Yeah. People went up to me. I was picking up something on Marketplace the other day. Yeah. And I was there, and I'm walking away, and this lady goes, by the way, I love GoArt. And they heard it in the car. And immediately I see my daughter's head go, she put her head down like, no, because I turned around.
Yeah.
And then it was like a 25-minute conversation about GoArt, you know, because I'm like, wait a minute, here's an opportunity for me to talk about GoArt.
Yeah.
You know, I meet with funders. I have to talk and promote what we do.
Yeah.
So
you're the face of the organization.
It's a lot of promotion.
Yeah.
I have to, I mean, it's a lot of talking, which luckily I love talking. So it's a lot of going out there and promoting what we do and how we support the community and the grant. We give out grants. So we have to also get applicants to apply. Yeah. And
yeah. So, and that's funny because I didn't know you did grants. Then when I came in, I can't remember what month it was, but I said something to Jody and she's like, you could apply for a grant because of your podcast. And I had no idea that was something that was available in the community. So I think that's really important because, you know, I think there's a misunderstanding of what can be considered an art form, and podcasting is just one of those things that's becoming known as an art form. But so you definitely support me from that, you know, the grants that you do receive and being able to use it. What are some of the other programs that you offer here?
So here we have this podcast studio.
Yep.
We have the music studio that we have artists use it to teach lessons. They use it to record basic demos and stuff like that. They also will rehearse in there. We have a dance studio. We just received a grant from the Community Foundation for Greater Buffalo via the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation. So we'll be offering dance classes that
Amazing.
are through that.
Okay.
And they're not dance. We're not going to be doing the stereotypical dance classes that are offered to everybody else.
Yeah.
So we're talking like African Caribbean and different stuff like that. In that studio, we also have the ballet dance troupe that meets in there, and occasionally they offer classes. We have poles, so we'll be doing pole classes. We have a library downstairs that we have a bunch of different book clubs that meet in there. We have a performance space downstairs that we have karaoke nights on. We have open mic, which is not just, it's for comedians, musicians, poets, actors, anybody that wants to get up there. We also have comedy nights, any type of thing that wants to happen on the stage. We have, like we said, we have the bar, we have the bakery. We are going to be putting in culinary classes soon. We do a lot of kids programming is generally put on by us. We have an education director that runs that programming, Jackie Swaby. We do creative arts camps, but then we have all different like culinary classes and all that. We also are doing classes in Spanish and sign language, immersive classes.
Oh, I love
so
that.
The idea is that you're learning Spanish and sign language while you're doing art.
Yeah. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
A lot of our adult art classes are taught by community members, community artists.
Yeah.
And in that case, it's generally their class. So they're using our space to teach the class. So they get the money from it. We take a small commission for advertising it, for the fees that we incur from credit card use and all that kind of stuff. But we've had watercolor classes, pottery classes, all of that kind of stuff.
And most of these programs, I mean, a lot of them are low to no cost that are available to the community, right?
Yes.
And also, I know, like, I had no idea that this was even available to me till I happened to, I know Linda Knipe, who's on the board.
Yep.
I know her from church. And so this studio is in remembrance of her husband, Bob.
Yeah.
And so I had seen that through church, but I don't think people are aware of the level and the volume that is open that it's either low cost, no cost for them to come in and participate in these programs.
Yeah. So even if we charge for the classes, if they're run by GoArt, so not the classes that are taught by the individual artists, because that's their classes, but if they are run by GoArt, if you can't afford it, we'll basically do a pay what you can option. We have different funding sources that we can use to cover it. And if we don't have it, we'll figure it out. Yeah. So we will not turn away anybody. But I say that once again, it's only if it's ours. Yeah. If it's somebody else's, I am working on a grant right now. I don't know if we'll get it. Yeah. But I talked to a foundation to see if it was something they would consider, and they said they would consider it. I don't know if they will fund it, but I'm hoping to get a pot of money that we could use towards those programs as well. So that way we would have more adult classes that could be the same way. But this way we want everybody. We don't want to exclude anybody. Yeah. So we're trying to make it so everybody has the opportunity to take any class that they want / possibly need. I mean, with everything, we went through this with COVID, with the mental needs, and I think we're headed there again.
100%.
So, so we need to have art as a way to help people stay mentally sane. Yeah.
I think the other thing is, in our community, there is an income consideration, especially with like some of the Orleans County communities, and, parents, they're out there working so hard every day, but not necessarily feeling like they have a place that their kids can go and have an opportunity, like an art program. And, I know you guys do things in the summer and things like that. So just to know that we have this available in our community is so increasingly important. It's like I said, our community is small. There are some income considerations, especially in some of our areas. And I just think knowing that this is a resource out there it's vital.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The other aspect is like you were talking about the grants that we give out.
Yep.
Last year we gave out over 300,000. This year we were pretty close to 300,000. This money is because the way we get it and the way we get other funding is one of our biggest arguments is you could be in New York City, you can be in Buffalo and Rochester, and there's a plethora of art possibilities for you to get to in walking distance from almost no matter where you're located.
Right.
Here, you have to find transportation.
Yep. And
there's not a lot of transportation options, even if we have RTS, but RTS only has certain routes, and they only run certain times.
Yep.
And so it's difficult to get to something. So our argument and our way of getting this funding that we give out is that if we don't have this money to give out, the only options are going to be what GoArt is providing right here in our building. Mm-hmm. So we get this money, and our goal is last year there was 120 different happenings in Genesee, Orleans counties that we funded.
Amazing.
And this way, hopefully, people everywhere had an opportunity to get to something because it was nearby. You know, they technically could walk to something, hopefully less than a mile.
Yep.
And yes, people might complain about that, but if they look back, their grandparents walked a mile up and down hill to get to school in the snow, So we're trying to make it available everywhere. So so even we have this here, but please go out there and look and go to our website, go to goart.org, because we have a calendar up of all the things that are happening. And there's a lot. Yeah. We're sponsoring a lot of things because we've given out, these grants are up to 5,000. So divide 300,000 by 5,000, there's a lot of stuff happening out there. And a lot of these places take that 5,000 and they do 20 different events with that $5,000. They spread that money. They do amazing things with it.
Yeah.
So we are grateful to all our partners that are making that stuff happen. Please check it out. The libraries, most all of the libraries are doing a ton of stuff.
Yep.
It's amazing how much our community is doing and making possible with the arts.
Yeah, I love that. And you bring up the library, which I think is a good resource as well. But just to set the stage for people who don't live locally, I would go to try to get an Uber or a Lyft to the Buffalo airport, which is 32 miles away. There are no Uber or Lyft options. So here from just a transportation perspective, we don't have a direct, I guess we kind of have a bus line, kind of. If you want to take, what's the busing?
RTS.
No, not RTS. Producer Ken.
Well, it's part of RTS. It's the B line, right?
Yeah, I think so, which would take you into Buffalo or
But is that just in the city of Batavia, though?
Yeah, and then you can meet up with the Greyhound.
Yeah, you get to Greyhound from technically to the cities, but, other than that, we don't have a lot of taxi options or lifts or anything like that. So, by people having something that they can walk to, and these kids, if they're teenagers and old enough, they can walk to these events and have something besides sitting at home on a device after school or during the program or during the summer. So I think that's just amazing. How do you partner with other local businesses?
Okay. So I was actually, I was just speaking at a foundation and they asked me that and they said, how do you connect? You go to all these phone calls and because there is Orleans County, Nyla from the United Way, she hosts a meeting, but a lot of those meetings are more for service organizations. And then there's also Genesee County has another organization that you can attend those meetings. Okay. To be honest, a lot of the meetings, I don't want to say I don't have time, but I really just don't have time to sit in and listen to all of them. And they're always at a time that I have a million other things and I'm trying to get my kids to school. Yeah. And I always feel like, oh my God, I don't do these people have kids? Do they have how do you do all this?
I feel this. I understand this.
And I just make phone calls.
Yeah.
/ people reach out to me all the time. They're like, we have an idea. And generally I think, oh my God, this is when I say I have an idea, people must cringe because I'm like, oh my God, they have an idea. What is it? And they think I'm just going to make this happen.
Yeah.
But they reach out or I reach out when I have an idea and I just call someone and I say, hey, here's my idea. What if we do this? I mean, I just literally go online and I type in the organization and I look through their staff and I look to see who's the person that makes the most sense for me to talk to and I call them. But I don't have a problem doing that. Yeah. So, I mean, that's generally what I do. Or if I know someone that knows someone, I will try to connect through them first because that generally helps better than a cold phone call.
Do you use the chamber at all?
I haven't, but it is a good source. Yeah. I do have access to that because we are part of the chamber.
Right.
But generally I just, I like to, so for me, it's all about what seems to mesh. Mm-hmm. And so there has to be a mesh. I'm not just blind looking through a list. Yeah. If I'm looking for specifically, if I'm looking for a donor, why would this donor want to donate to this project?
Right. What's the meaningful connection between the person and the project?
So I'm always trying to find the connection before I just randomly go after someone.
Yeah, that's smart.
And that's the same with a project. Why would this person want to be involved in this project? Yeah. So if I can't come up with a reason, then it's not there. And the same when I go to talk with a foundation or when I go talk to a congressman or go talk to anybody about what we're doing, I will research that person to find out who they are. Like, okay, they grew up with a big family. So did I. I have 5 siblings. I'm going to start talking about that and connect with them and then go that route. So I research, I guess, is probably the number one answer.
Yeah. And I think that's actually great networking advice. First of all, if there's something you ever want to go do, finding somebody who's doing it and just learning from them, talking to them, but then also finding that connection. I'll share a little story because I'm I own my own company, and it's funny you say finding that connection. A lot of times I'm getting on a cold client call and I won't know, I could do my research, but you're like, is this going to be a meaningful connection? Like culturally, whatever. And so earlier this week I got on a call with a potential client, and I have a Buffalo Bills chair. And so he saw the Buffalo Bills chair. He's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And so we were able to do like that immediate connect. So it's the same, a little bit more like from a spontaneous perspective, I had to react and respond. But, I think it's a great tip just from a networking perspective of what you're doing and finding people to connect with that, will bring them and draw them to want to help GoArt.
Well, I also say like, this sounds maybe a little weird, but I have often looked at it as almost like a first date.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And as I said, I'm gay,
mm-hmm.
but I've been many times with a woman
mm-hmm.
and been like, oh my gosh, I really love your shoes.
Yeah.
Or your nails are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like just trying to get them to smile.
Yeah.
And then they'll start to open up,
yeah.
But I try to pick something that is legit and real. Like I don't want to just say something that they're like, like I shouldn't be making faces because you can't see my face as I'm talking on podcast, but they're just looking at me like, yeah, he's making this up right now,
No.
But I try to, make something to be on a personal level that they think, okay, this guy's real.
Yeah. And everybody likes to hear that,
Yeah.
I was actually just thinking, God, don't look at my nails because it's a bad situation right now.
My nails are never gorgeous. So
no, but it's true. It's, I think, first of all, people want to be friendly and nice and want to help if they're able to, and being able to just connect with someone and let their guard down. Like, oh, okay, this guy's not just coming after my donation, but he actually cares and is looking at me as a person.
There's a lot of hate in this world.
There is.
And I do not like that word.
Yeah.
At all. And I struggle with it a lot. And I'm always saying love, peace, joy, and happiness to my kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, why do you always say that? I'm like, because I don't like that there's so much hate.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that I always give every person that I meet all the credit in the world until they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And I keep fighting doing the opposite. And it's really disappointing when it happens that way all the time.
Yeah.
That I give them so much credit and then they disappoint me, but
yeah, I hear you.
I don't understand why we can't just walk around loving people to begin with. Like, why not?
We should. Yeah.
There's no reason not to. And I don't know. It makes me sad. I spend too many hours crying about hate.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand.
Yeah, I do.
So I go into every conversation, everything with the intention of walking out really excited and really happy and hopefully making a new friend.
Yeah. No, which is great. And I think when you walk through the doors of GoArt, you feel that. So I think that that's important for the community to feel you can walk into this space and it's welcoming. And that's, I think, an important part for our community to realize as well.
And I also stress, everybody has a bad day.
They do.
And if I have ever because I'm sure I've had a bad day and rubbed someone the wrong way at some point in time, but then I want them to tell me that.
Yeah.
So then I can also apologize
Yeah.
and say, I'm sorry. I was obviously thinking about something else, or please forgive me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's not in everything. That's not in every day. It's when the person every single day is just that negative type of, negativity just brings everybody down. So it's better to open with a good heart and positive outlook on everything.
We need more of it because right now,
joy spreads. Love spreads.
Yes.
Look at that for sure. All right. What is something fun that's on the horizon for GoArt?
Fun.
Yeah. What's fun upcoming?
So all of our events that we have coming up, we have the Juneteenth celebration on June 14th. We are collaborating with Just Kings, and we are adding a lot more education components to it to really help people understand what the day is all about. A lot of people understand that it's the day that African Americans were freed, but they don't understand that it was actually 2 years later in Texas when the last African Americans were freed and actually became freed people, that it was 2 years later. Then we have the Ramble, which is 2 days this year. It's going to be on July 4th and 5th.
All right.
So it's a Friday, Saturday. Yes. Ramble, Explore Art and Music Festival. And then we are bringing back, in collaboration with the once owners, runners of the Steampunk Festival, and that is August 29th and 30th. So we'll be doing the Steampunk Festival at the Orleans Cornell Cooperative Extension, the Orleans Fairgrounds.
Oh, is that the group that used to run it at Leonard Oaks?
Yes. Yep. Oh, Leonard Oaks is no longer in business, but the owners are doing, one of the owners, Jonathan Oaks, is
That's August 29th?
running it with us.
Okay,
Yep.
well, you'll find us there.
Awesome.
Because we were literally just talking about the fact we never made it to Leonard Oaks when that was there.
When it was there?
Yeah.
It was a pretty amazing space.
And my daughter is all about that. So I'm going to put that in my calendar because you will find us there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then our big event is the Erie Canal Artisan Festival on September 26th, 27th, 28th.
Okay.
And that is expanding the entire Erie Canal in Orleans County from Medina to Holly. So 22 miles. And that event is, we have a boat regalia, which is a parade going the 22 miles. We have artisan vendors. We have food vendors. We have auto show with all the cool cars, but then within a few of those cars is going to be plays happening within them. So like you sit in the back seat, and in the front seat there might be two robbers that just got in, and so you're witnessing that show. Or you might be in the front seat. In the back seat there might be a woman giving birth. I don't know. I'm just saying these. I'm not the one writing the shows. Linda Nipis.
Oh, is she really?
Yes, an accomplished writer. So she's writing the plays. With some help of some other author friends that she has. Then we have a series of concerts happening at the Holly Falls, which is part of the Erie Canal. It's the Erie Canal Falls in Holly. And then in Albion, it is the home of the Santa Claus School, the original Santa Claus School. Yep. So we are doing Christmas Village in Albion.
What weekend is this?
This is September 26th, 27th, 28th.
I'll be there.
Awesome.
Anything Santa.
So that's huge. And then our last event for the year is in at the YMCA in Medina. It is our Dia de los Muertos Festival. And I want to say that is October 25th.
Okay. It
is a Saturday, and I am looking it up right now as we speak. I'm trying to speak very slowly so that I don't.
Well, that's all right.
It is on October 25th. Yeah.
I was just going to chime in and say it's a big year for the Erie Canal and all the events going on. It's the 200th anniversary of the opening of the canal.
Oh,
it is. It's also the 200th anniversary of Orleans County.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ken's actually ridden his bike all the way down that, right? You started in Rochester?
I started in Rochester over off of French Road and then ended right at Riverside in Buffalo.
Yeah. Impressive.
Done that a couple times.
Yeah. I met him at Hartman's Distillery, having a little drinky poo while he finished up his ride.
Nothing better than a Resurgence beer right at the end of that ride, though.
Mom of the year there. Well, those are, and I'm going to link the website to GoArt in our show notes, so we'll make sure that all of that's highlighted. Okay, that's GoArt. How about for you? What is fun on the horizon for Greg?
Oh, for me?
Yeah. Anything fun?
I am doing a trip with my children. Every year we do a road trip. And this year we are driving down across the southern part of the United States to Arizona, and then back through the middle of the United States.
Cool.
And we, at the end of this year, I'm currently at 49 states. I just have Alaska left. At the end of this year, my daughter will also be at 49 states with just Alaska left. And my son will be at 48 states with Hawaii and Alaska left.
Okay. All right.
But I think for a 10-year-old to have
that's
48 states.
Pretty impressive.
And he is begging that we don't go to Alaska next year. He's like, please, can we go to Hawaii next year so that we can all do Alaska together at the end?
Oh.
He'll probably win. But I feel like I shouldn't have to wait to get my 50th state in for my kids who are 30 years younger than me.
That is amazing.
You know,
that's a lot of travel for them. That's great.
Yeah, we do these massive, we just do road trips every year for our vacation.
That's a lot of fun.
My mom does them with us. She drives and gets a little upset with me because I generally use my phone as a hotspot and write grants while we're driving. And she does. So she drives and she's like, you just spent 60 hours on your vacation writing grants. And I'm like, I know, but we still got to do all this stuff.
That's right. You're still together. Still got the music and singing.
And I'm like, and I only wrote the grants while we were driving. I didn't do it when we got to the destinations or anything like that.
God. I love that.
Yeah.
I've been known to sit in the front seat of the car writing a thing or two myself, so I can appreciate that.
And I don't know how I do it because I get motion sickness really bad, but I guess I really get into those grants.
Yeah.
Like I'm really
just focused on that. Yeah, you're focused on
It's the H or the hyper focus of the ADHD that I'm just like, ooh, don't even know it.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. All right, so we have global audience. We're in over 30 countries, massive amounts of people. I want what's one last thing you want everybody to know across the globe about GoArt?
We love what we do here. We are all about everybody and everybody being welcomed here, no matter who you are. We are accepting of everybody, and if at any point someone is not accepting of someone in here, they're the ones that are asked to leave. We just celebrate everybody. That's who we are. Yep. We take all sorts of courses to make sure that we have an understanding. We probably don't know everything. We won't admit that we know everything, but we want to have some sort of knowledge and to be able to be a safe space for people to come to. But that is our goal. Like I said, we have that mural in the back because our goal is that people look at it and they say, wow, like that looks like me. And there was, when they painted there's a little black boy out there, and my son had said, he goes, that little boy looks like me. And I had a tear come down because I was like, that's exactly what we were going for, and that means everything. And I would be lying to say that I am just doing this for everybody. I'm doing it for everybody in the world, but I have 2 kids that mean everything to me. And my son is Afro-Latino, and my daughter is Latino as well. And I want them to grow up in a better world. And my goal is for them to be proud of this, not me, but of what their dad does and of the space that they're in, and for them to encourage and promote GoArt in their lives. And they do, and we go out there and my kids educate based on what they have learned here,
Yeah.
And they do. I mean, we were talking about Frida Kahlo at this place, and my daughter was like, she's more than an artist, right? And proceeded to talk about Frida Kahlo. And I'm like, where did you learn that? Because I assumed it was in school somewhere. And she goes, in creative arts camp at GoArt. And I was like, heck to the yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's what we are. We're everybody. And we just want everybody here. We want everybody to feel comfortable here and feel like they can be involved in what we do.
Oh, that's amazing. And, I have to say, you feel it when you walk in the doors. You really do. It's an amazing space, amazing people. There are so many great people who are here who are just so welcoming when you arrive. So I'm happy to bring GoArt forward to this platform. And again, to say thank you, because you really are a massive part of what Powered by Authenticity has been able to accomplish. And we couldn't do it without the kindness that you give to us each week by letting us come here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
for coming here and doing this.
We love it.
We need more of this. Yeah,
for sure. It's, like I said, it's fun to hear that podcasting is becoming an art form, because I think it kind of is. So it's fun to see. And I'm excited to bring all of these amazing places in Western New York forward. I think, again, like I said, when I was a kid, I knew of this building in a completely different fashion. I knew of one that I would never be able to walk through the doors. And now I come here each week and I know everybody like a, family member, and it's just such an experience. And so I want everybody to understand there are places like this all across the United States. We have it right here in our own community, and hopefully, more people will come and visit and see the beautiful building and the wonderful people that are here. So thanks for letting us come.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Producer Ken, thank you for your help tonight.
You got it.
I really appreciate it. And I thank everybody for being here, whether you're a first-time listener, long-time listener, wherever you are in your journey with us. We appreciate you. And Greg, once again, thank you.
Thank you.